Hi, this is a short demo of Skadi Gist, which allows you to share code snippets from MPS in the browser with other people, just as you would do with, for instance, text via Github Gist. So let's take a look. First thing, you can head over to the marketplace and install the plugin from there, either on the website, you find the link in the description, or you can search for it in the marketplace directly in MPS. So if you go to plugins and you search for Skadi, you will find this and you can install this. Obviously, I have already installed it, so for me there is nothing to do right now. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing after installing the plugin you will notice is a new tool window. Here, Skadi Cloud, which you can open. It basically just tells you that there's nothing selected, and you get a link to help, which basically forwards you to a little how-to. This is also most likely where you found this video. So let's get started and select something. So there's two ways to create a gist. The first one is by simply going into the editor, right-clicking, and then clicking the Create Gist action here. This opens a little, opens the tool window you saw before, but now you can actually enter some information like title. This is my first gist. And you can also add a description. So nice. I wanted to try this plugin. And the description also supports Markdown. Then you can choose a visibility. So public or unlisted are available if you aren't logged in. Login, we take a look in a second. And of course you get a little warning that you won't be able to delete the gist if you aren't logged in, because we have no way of knowing who you are when you come back, right? Because you aren't logged in. And you also see what you're actually creating gist for. In this case, it's the autosolver class that you see on my screen. So let's hit the create button. Then it will create a gist in the background, which can take a little. Okay, now it's successful, and you get a little notification here. So you can then either directly copy URL or open it in the browser. So let's open it in the browser. Okay, first thing you see is it takes you to a website that shows what you actually saw on the screen. And it puts your description here. There's also a link you can take and send it to your colleague. So let's say I want to send it to somebody on Slack. I post it to somebody on Slack, and then I can send the link. Also, you notice it will generate a nice little preview of what's the gist and what is the actual content. So you can at least see a little bit of what you have shared. But what happened behind the scenes is that it has not only uploaded the screenshot that you just see on my screen, it has also uploaded the underlying model, at least for that part that you are sharing. It doesn't upload the complete model, it only uploads what you share. And we can only import this. So let's take the link here and copy it. So we can either go to the browser and copy it from there, or press the copy button and then go back to our MPS. And in MPS, we have a new action here in code, which is import gist. So this is only active when it actually detects a link to a gist in the clipboard. And if we now press the import button, what will happen is it will ask us where to put what we want to import. So what it has done in the background is it has checked with the backend, and it has downloaded the actual content of the gist that we shared. So now we can select a model where we place this. In this case, I'm using my sample solution here. Okay, and now let's scroll up and see. So now we have here the exact same class that we shared, which is this one here on the left. And this is now ours, which is not read-only, so we can actually edit it. The other one was a class for MPS, was read-only. And the nice thing is it has also taken care of all the imports for us. So I didn't show this before, but the model properties were basically empty. So when I imported the gist, the plugin took care of adding the necessary languages, the used languages. If any are missing, it will add them. And if there are any model imports that you require, it will also add them for us. Okay, so that's a very simple example. Of course, you can share more than one root node if you want to. We will go to that in a second. But now what happens when you log in? So first thing to log in is pretty simple. You go to the settings here under tools. You will find a new entry, Skadi Cloud. And then you have a couple of options. The first thing is what's the default visibility. You can also say you want to remember the visibility. So when you change the visibility in the tool window, it actually remembers it and stores it as a default for the next gist you want to create. And we currently see that we are not logged in. So let's click the login button. Okay, so what happens here? So when we actually want to log in, we are going to be taken to GitHub to sign into Skadi Cloud in this case. So let's actually do that. I think I need to get my security key. There we got it. Use security key, sign in. Okay, and now we are getting redirected back. And we get the screen that we have been logged in successful. Notice that in the address bar now you see localhost. So what happened is that with the integrated web server in IntelliJ, or MPS in this case, the website actually authenticated us and sent us the credentials back into the IDE. So you don't need to enter any tokens or whatsoever, no passwords required, everything happens for you. The only thing you need to have is a GitHub account, which we can then use to actually sign in. So that's all. We can actually close this window and go back. Unfortunately, there is still a bug. So what you see is that the private field here enabled, but the login as still shows empty. This is hopefully fixed by the time you are seeing this video. Okay, now that we are logged in, so what can we do? Let's share something else. Not the autoresolver, let's take maybe two things. So two root nodes. Instead of clicking into the editor, you can also click on root nodes. Mark a couple of them, how many as you like, and then right click and select create gist. Then you see the same tool window popping up. We give it a title, my second gist, and I'm leaving the description blank. And then of course I can also select the visibility. So let's talk quickly about visibility. So public means it's shown on the front page. So if we go here to gist.skadi.cloud, you can see that there's already a couple of examples here on the website, and that the gist that we shared before, this I want to try this plugin, is actually showing up here on the front page. So if you select unlisted, it doesn't show up on the front page, but you still get a link that you can share with anybody you like, and they will be able to see the gist if they have the link. And then there's private. This is only enabled when you're logged in, because this is a gist that you can only see when you are logged in with your own account. So even if you share the link with somebody else, they can't open it because it's private to you. You also see that it now says we are creating a gist for two nodes. If we hover over it, we see the actual names of the root nodes that we create. So let's hit create again. So it will create it in the background, and then the notification opens. So we can go into the browser, take a look at this. And our first thing you notice is it now shows up under my user. So the first one we saw here shows up under this anonymous user. And now this one actually shows up under my user. It contains both of the root nodes here. So the first one is the editor-based reference resolver and the ref scope check-in editor. We can still copy the link, but now let's actually log in here. So let me log in again with GitHub, use my security key. And now if I go back to my second gist here, you notice that next to the copy button, there's also an edit button. So now the system knows this is my gist and that you can actually edit them. There's also a couple of settings you can take a look at. This is basically which devices you have authenticated and your email address and everything that we got from GitHub. If you click the edit button, it allows you to edit the title, the description with a nice little markdown editor in the browser, which makes it easier for you to do the editing. You can also delete root nodes. Just click on them and they would be deleted from the gist. Yeah, and you can also delete the complete gist if you want to. So if you click this, it basically asks you, hey, do you really want to delete it? If not, go back and not click the delete button. But that's not what we want to do. Then you can also click on the user, and then you basically see all the gists the user has created. All the public gists, not the unlisted and private ones, of course. And that's basically it. So Skadi Gist allows you to share code snippets with other people pretty easily, but it also includes the models. So you can really share the code and not just the screenshot. There's a couple of features I would like to work on in the future. For instance, embedding, like Gist from GitHub can do. And the best thing is all of this is open source. So we'll find a link to the source code repository somewhere below the video, most likely, or in the blog post if you're reading this in the blog post. And yeah, that's it. Thanks.